All right, we're starting the session.
Mm-hmm.
So today our PC is Owain, and he's one of our viewers who really likes our channel, watches our stuff and all. He wants to get out of body. He has his own blocks, cannot get out fully. I think at some point in time he was able to do the astral projection, or at least see his astral feet, astral hands, but he was never able to roll out fully and have it like full blow OBE. He used to have communication with spirit guides who would help him out, but at some point they just stopped like 6 months ago or so. And yeah, so usually I start sessions with looking at people's photo, if they send me, and then I scan their body, look for entities, any agreements, any energy breaks and stuff. But before I started the session, I was like doing these little checks, and for some reason I got this read on not wanting to get out of body. So it's kind of the opposite of what he wants. And I think it could be connected to the past lives. Maybe some things that, we make decisions in the past, like, oh, I've done something, left something, or maybe it hurt too much that I don't want to get out anymore, or something else.
Mm-hmm.
But, something to look into.
Yeah.
Main target is he wants to get out of body, he has blocks.
Yeah. And what we're getting reads on is there's something in here he doesn't want to get out. It has to do with past lives.
So, I guess, like, I could scan his body and check for entities and other things as well, but probably best to focus in on the first read I got.
Yeah, the first thing that we got to read on.
Alright, yeah. So, okay. So basically, I close my eyes, get out of body, and do my scan and stuff. You guide me, and I will share what I find.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, so, yeah, I'm like scanning, like looking for that, like not wanting to get out of body, or like why I'm getting that read and stuff. And for us, it's not a new thing anymore that a vessel can have more than one conscious being in it. And, Owain can be the full 100% one, but there will be some others who can talk to us and we hear that mind chatter going and stuff. And finally, just like it's as if like there's another being in the physical body who's like, hey, I don't want to get out. I want to be like, as if like they've been out somewhere and they've been messed with, which is like, like they're scared, they've been hurt, harmed, and the physical body of Owen is a safe place, and they don't want to get out. It's really safe out there.
It's really safe in the body.
In the body.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the first thing I'm picking up.
Yeah.
I can look more to it and try to get it being out, or find what happened in the past and why is it it's just probably the thing that Owen wants to get out. He wants to be free. He's trying his stuff, and that other one is actually like really clinging so tight that it doesn't let him go to get out of the body and stuff.
Yeah, and we might want to look into like give that part of him, or that aspect, a session sort of thing, help it resolve its worry, concern, fear issue about getting out or wanting to be in.
Yeah.
And then see if it blends well, or whether it will, that part of that entity aspect will wake up and want to leave, or just be more in line with Owen's interests.
All right.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, those are real strong reads. What are you getting there?
I'm getting that part of him that doesn't want to leave is actually leaving quite often. And I'm looking I've seen like lots of like these places gets out of body and like visits other realms and stuff. And I'm like, well, is that part like being abducted? Just leaves on its own? Like, what's the story behind there? So like, I'm looking into that because like I just see like lots of parts where that part does get out a lot, and it's not safe out there. He doesn't like it. It's as if like it happens against his own will.
Oh, okay, yeah, happens against his own will, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look into that.
All right.
It's got a good read on that. What was that? What is that?
I'm looking. It's like it's as if like there's a mechanism. It's in another plane, another planet, whatever you want to call it. And it's just like that part, that consciousness that wants to be with Owain and doesn't want to get out, actually has a body out there, and that body is like calling that part of him back. And somewhere in it all, like throughout the travel, it's like that part does get to travel back and forth, and being out there is not safe. So he doesn't like it out there. Like he wants to like be here in the physical with Owain.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the phenomena of people here want to get out of body because it's not safe here, and they got the idea that if they can get out into the higher realms, it'll be safe there. And some people get out of body here, and they go in these other nice realms, and they don't want to come back here.
Yeah.
But this is kind of in that in reverse. This aspect doesn't want to go back to its place, but
Yes.
it does a lot, kind of thing. Or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's if like you know how we go into the dream world and we get out, and then we come back and like, oh, man, I wish I would go back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same way. It's like waking up and it just calls a part of his consciousness back to that place.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking at is it like the body? Is there some other mechanism in there? I'm looking like what is it attracting that like part of him there? So I'm gonna scan and look and stuff.
Okay.
But it seems like it's a
That.
yeah, gets to read, huh? It seems like it's like a structure. It reminded me of your OBE where they just dump lots of beings, and it seems like a more of a prison plane where they just like suck the consciousness and tries to trap them in another realm. It's probably even more suppressed than Earth, or some points. Like I'm gonna look into it.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah. I'm like tracking that being, and I'm like, he just left again. He was called back to that place again.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna track him down.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
I'm looking like that part is like a kid trying to escape parents. You know how parents sometimes like, hey, do this, go do dishes, go do this stuff, and that kid's like, no, I want it, like bye, and he just keeps going back to like away.
Mm-hmm. So he's going away, going back. He's coming here to this plane and being in this body.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, like he keeps shifting as if like his two local homes or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
I'm looking like asking like being like, so what's your connection with Owain? Like, why are you here? And it's as if like the kid playing hide and seek, and he's gonna hide between like behind some building or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's using Owain as like sort of hiding place too, so that he wouldn't be found. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like as if like people can search and they can scan the soul. Like, oh, like this is the main presence here. They
Uh-huh.
don't scan like the little ones, and he's like really hiding it in like he did.
Uh-huh.
Trying to sneak and stuff.
Okay. As you look further into that, see what there's in common with him, with Owain. Why did he choose Owain?
All right.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, so this being is more like, into hiding, and Owain, probably his personality, or at some point, he's the one that gives the shelter to other beings. Like, he's the one that, like, protector, or giving a lot, and, like, that's the safe spot for that little being, you know?
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. And let's scan when that being arrived in Owen's space.
Alright.
Unless there was something else you wanted to look into.
Yeah, I can look into when, and then coming back, like, looking for that structure, or, like, trying to cut the ties, like, hey, go talk to your parents, like, let's solve this thing so that you wouldn't have to go and keep hiding and stuff, something like it.
Sure, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting, but, like, it's basically, like, quintillion years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, like, Owain was probably, like, sheltering, like, a lot of beings and protecting them, and that was, like, oh, like, that's a safe place, like, let's just be here for a while. And, like, they've moved from one life to another, but, like, it was always a safe place to come and just be with.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah, I'm looking, trying to disconnect that, like, little being from Owain so that it wouldn't, like, use it up and stuff. Like, sort of revoke some sort of, like, agreements, like, yeah, you can come over here, I'll give you shelter, like, things like that, where like, he gives the allowance for people to come in and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as if, like, all those small beings, or, like, well, small beings, so all those beings that, like, come here for help, for Owen, whatever they want, like, a shelter, support, talk to, like, just feel safe, doesn't matter. It's as if, like, it's a phone, a PC or something on a low battery, and they tune into Owen to get charged up again.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and they're basically using him as like a little charge base, like, oh, like, whew, and it's rejuvenating, just like gives it back a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the same thing that, like, gives more weight and doesn't let him get out of body fully, because, like, it's as if, like, I don't know, like, it's the belief or whatever that he has to take care of them first before he leaves and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But it's one of the things that, like, is in the play.
Yeah, and it's kind of like if you had a laptop hooked in and you had a lot of peripherals hooked into it, charging off of it, you couldn't just pick up the laptop and walk out of the room with it.
Yeah.
you couldn't bring it out of the house. You can't bring him out of the body. He's got these peripherals plugged into him, getting charged up by a kind of metaphor.
Yeah.
Like it?
Pretty much.
Okay. So you're going to do what now?
I'm gonna create a safe place, like a realm where all those beings can come in, recharge, have their safe place without anyone else messing with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be like a redirected channel where they can do the same sort of things out there in that realm without having to come and use a Wayne help and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah, okay, and also look at different ways that Owain can still be of help and service,
Mhm.
and if he likes it, on this level, is he still does he still like to help people in this way, and is there something else he can do that's not quite so binding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That.
It reminds me of like I'm looking to it, like Star Wars, for example, and that Death Star is like a huge place, and you go with a spaceship and like you just like finally start zooming in and like it's massive and you just your spaceship is little bit and you just like park there. It's as if like Owain is like that huge planet or huge place where people come in and park and they have safe place and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Wow. Yeah,
So
yeah, that makes sense.
like I'm literally like seeing like thousands of these ports and people that like wanna come over for whatever kind of reason and just like get his help or like like have that like sort of safe place or whatever.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like I'm looking into it and it seems like and when I was like wondering like why did the spirit guys just disappear out of the sun and they were there and they're apparently like if Wayne is actually like that place that like shelters all these beings and stuff. The spirit guys are like trying to help out and like redirect them, give them something to make sure that they don't overload Owain with
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff. And they're like so busy that they have no time for Owain himself.
Okay.
Like overload of work. But now I'm creating our realm. It's gonna be like safe, like it's a vast, never-ending realm and stuff, where all these beings can come over, like for like just spend their time, whatever. And I'm making like this teleportation point for Owain, so like a little copy of him over there, so that like it would try pulling him out of body. It's as if like a magnet that will whenever he tries to like get out of body, it's gonna be like another place pulling him out there and helping him like hey, this is a safe place. These are all the beings that really like you.
Uh-huh.
You can engage with them, and from then on, like it's like a place where he can just open his eyes and be, and from then he can just choose to go wherever he wants. But it's just like a little like like a parking place or like a spawn spot,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
spawning place, whatever.
Uh-huh.
So
Good. Good.
I'm looking at like I created like safe place and everything. I redirected the channel so like all the beings that come for like Owain they can go to that new place.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like the dark side or whatever's happening, they were using that. It's like oh okay like you have a great program going. We're just gonna use a little bit of that thing. And what it do is like it's as if
They have a great program going. Which program?
I'm about to tell you about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the program is like I don't know how to explain it, but I have to talk in metaphors or just like my own way of talking about it. It's like every part of these beings is like porting like a ship, and they come there. And dark side like attaches like an anchor to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like whenever people like beings come for help, it doesn't matter if it's just like a little shelter or like just being close to Owain or whatever. All of them are dropping an anchor, and it's holding Owain to the body, like
Yeah.
it's really weighting him down. So he can lift his legs out. He can like lift his like hands and stuff, but fully getting out is kind of like really hard or maybe even impossible because of all those anchors holding him down so hard that like it's really hard. Like he can try moving and rolling and stuff like that, but like he can't fully get out because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the program.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, makes sense.
I was like kind of like cutting all those anchors, cords, like whatever, like from the dark side that's like holding him down to this body, and I also like explored like it's as if like they had their own like little goons, entities, clustering up, and it's as if like a little program. One of those little entities will weigh a few tons, so that it's gonna overweight an astral body. Like you just put lots of weight on it to make sure like it cannot get out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of entities are gathered around in the stomach area, and like it's just like lots of weight, and you see like a blanket like in the air or whatever, and then you
Mhm.
drop something in like a rock in the middle, it's gonna like it just like sinks in and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Same way with entities, they just gather up in one place, a lot of them, and like it makes the astral body to sink in. So like I can't get out, and like arms are there, legs are there, but like he
Oh,
cannot
I
fully get out.
see.
Like it's like weighs a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So that's like one thing I found, and then I'm scanning like there's something right next to the neck. I'm like goes from head, and it doesn't go to the back. It's like between shoulders and neck, in that place.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this sort of like astral cord or something going in, and I'm like I don't know what's that yet about, but I'm about to scan. Like I just like noticed like it's like a shoving a metal or a sword or something. You know, like it's like solid, so you cannot bend it or whatever.
It's like a shiv or a blade or something.
Yeah, and you cannot bend it. So
Uh-huh.
it's like in this sort of between this like spine or something like or in there, and he cannot like really bend in on like or leave naturally, like
Uh-huh.
because the weight is like one thing, but that like thing that's like in this neck
Mhm.
like that's sort of like more of a solid like matter or whatever, it's it has some impact on it, and I'm about to find out what.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I'm looking at like scanning this thing, and
At the what?
scanning that like
Oh, scanning the thing.
yeah. And how to say it? It reminds me of this factory where you see like like things hanging and on like on a string or whatever, and it's as if it's like a shop where you can choose a body or something like a metallic body,
Mm-hmm.
and all of them are hanging on this wire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they're connected to this, and they're just like hanging and moving and like being like transported.
Hooked onto the shim sort of thing. It's hooked into the neck of these bodies.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
Yeah.
Like,
So it seems like that's where I get the connection. That's
Uh-huh.
like some. I'll look what's up. Is it the
Sure.
past life or something else?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
It reminds me like a soul trap or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You can imagine like I don't know like this sort of potion or whatever like this flask I guess would be the
Mhm.
best way to say it. And in that flask, it's as if like there's lots of little beings out there. You know.
Beings in it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like consciousness or whatever, and
Mhm.
they're in there, like they're like sort of like trapped. And as that factory or the machine place is going with all the like robotic or like metallic bodies,
Mhm.
it's as if like at some point when they arrive at this destination, the
Mhm.
consciousness will like from that flask or like the trap place with beings will be. It's like giving like pouring a liquid into the bottle. It's
Uh-huh.
like getting the consciousness in the body like, and it wakes up and starts reacting to the program or whatever.
Yeah,
And
it's sort of a robotic or an android body of some sort.
yeah,
It's hooked by the neck, hanging on a thing in a big factory sort of place. It goes down the assembly line, so to speak, to the place where there's a big flask, and it's like dumping clusters of consciousness. Of which now was Owen one of those, or did those get put into blended with Owen's consciousness somehow?
I will find out.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so like when that machine like pours consciousness, whatever, like pouring ketchup or something, it's a mix of like beings out there. So it's
Uh-huh.
gonna be Owen with our beings out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like noticing specifically Owen like why he has it, because it's like consciousness trying to escape it, like it's like some sort of trap that keeps them like really connected to that, like and that's what you feel it like all throughout your spine, your neck, and goes into inside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like really solid, like, and you cannot like move normally, and it's like lots of beings are trying to like tear themselves off that part and just like escape and stuff, and that's like it's really painful.
Mm-hmm.
It gives pressure, like sort of like a magnetic field, and like big resistance and stuff, and it probably like something, you know, like that like remain in the present life, like right now in the physical. That thing is sort of still in effect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, like maybe it's still going on simultaneously,
Mm-hmm.
and that could be like taking the effect,
Yeah.
getting the reason.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so like that's something I can focus on, like free him from that body and just like
Mhm.
actually destroy the place because it's not nice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm looking so like I'm freeing all the beings, like like how to say it? I just added my hand to like that body or whatever, and it's like just beings like shooting out to their like physical bodies or like whatever they are, just kind of just free and like goes back to their main source. And this place I'm looking at, like, oh, it's like okay, and then I notice this huge door, like like it's massive, and I'm like, what's this place? And apparently, like all of these parts and all of these beings is basically like a screw. Every single one of them is like little screws for their big construct. It's actually not little robots or androids, or like they could be bodies, but all of those bodies eventually would make up one thing, and it's just like a there's this AI creating that little army of beings out there, like who are gonna like whatever mission or whatever the needs for that are, and basically it's like portable. So they're creating their own metal planet or something. It's like they're gonna have army, spaceships, buildings, cities, everything all connected, and like a transformer. Looks like a car becomes this massive thing.
Mhm.
So everything, all of those beings can screw up and become a planet.
Plug in and be integrated, and they're all different parts, but the metal parts, so to speak, are actually Im- imbued with or filled with consciousness,
Yes,
and entities are beings.
yes,
And then this is how the AI is using life and consciousness to build its world and planets.
yes. So it's really interesting. Like every single one of those beings, there's like this is just like one factory. I'm like leaving the room and there's like the whole city. I'm like okay, uh,
Mm-hmm.
massive. This is like ginormous. Like those doors. Like if I'm
Yeah.
1 meter and like 72 centimeters, so that's like a 1 kilometer. Like like a mountain or something.
Uh-huh.
It's massive. So anyway, with all that like all of those robots and different things that they're making, uh, you know can connect into a spaceship, can connect into a city, can connect and be, like make a form of a planet and just be out there and travel. But
Mm-hmm.
whenever they're close to some other like realm, it's like starts like and sort of like a becomes whatever they need. Like becomes an army, becomes a spaceship, and this planet can travel like a spaceship, like a
Mm-hmm.
giant spaceship. But then it will have like different like sort of ships and armies and different things that can land and like take out the realms and just like keep creating their bases because
Uh-huh.
they trap consciousness to like make everyone into all this one being that will play by the rules. It's like consciousness cannot escape that structure, so all of the beings are like trapped, and basically the program is running. So it's like Orwellian system, like everyone has to act by the rules and do certain things that the this AI wants and like is in there, and you're just like you're like a slave.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Pretty good reasons too.
pretty bad.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
anyway, like I will destroy the whole thing and
Yeah.
and find the AI and take it out and then go from there.
Okay.
Mhm. So yeah, I got all the soul parts from that system out, like they're free and stuff. And I'm looking at the connections, like trying to take out the structure, like completely destroy it and stuff. And I'm looking at the AI, like the connections, like what's up. So it seems like that AI specifically had at least 57 of these giant structures.
Like these big giant planet places or
Yeah,
factory places?
yeah, yeah, same
Planet,
thing.
yeah, planet factory things.
Yeah,
57 of them.
and this AI like is like making deals with Anunnaki, and they're like like hey, we're gonna be like a Trojan ship. Uh, we might sell like hey, we're gonna come out of the army, give you tools to fight and stuff, but actually comes in with Anunnaki in there hiding and stuff, and they're
Mm-hmm.
ready to just slay people and like trap them and kill them and like all this stuff. And so like they're being sent out through all the multiverse and all kinds of places. And it's just like basically like let's colonize everything and like take this is our place now, and they're like marking their territory and like it's a good way for them.
Yeah.
Like this AI can like sell like oh, we're gonna give you protection, we're gonna have our army there. It's like a U.S. army coming into Europe. Oh, we're gonna keep you protected, and Russia comes and we're gonna keep you protected, and then like they take over the country. It's like oh, okay, like so same way. It's like they're like gonna they promise protection or something like it.
Uh-huh.
And people in there are like oh cool, like we're gonna have our own robots protecting us, so we don't have to send our own people and it actually comes in with Anunnaki, and everyone's being slaughtered and captured and used for the same machines, and they're just like making more and more of those.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Good. Okay. Where do we go from here? Do we see how does Owen separate out or fit into or be clear of that?
Mhm. Yeah. So, as all the souls and beings that were trapped in there, I freed them all and sent them like to their like consciousness, like the main source and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So one part came back. I can like scan, see if there's any other connections to those structures or whatever.
If you think it's necessary, but
Yeah. Yeah, so since that's clean, I'm gonna remove that anti-glycer on his stomach. That's like sort of weighting him down. Just another thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can do missing like finding soul like missing soul fragments or whatever that was shattered or whatever that was used and taken from him.
Big read.
Get it all back and give him all the stuff. And I think we're almost good.
Yeah, let's do that soul fragment thing. Clean up first, the one you just mentioned.
Okay.
Let's do that first.
So I'm getting parts of him back. It's like seems like there's a big control system because of what he experienced with those Anunnaki and like AI and stuff. Like like cannot get like very harsh commands. Like you have to stay grounded. You cannot leave. You cannot do this and that and that. Like there's like lots of those harsh ones. So I got rid of those, and I'm looking back at those beings that were staying with him, and if Owain was a tree that has fruits and everything, and those beings came over to take a fruit, it's stuff like there's like tons of them out there, and not all of them are considerate, so they're trying to take the fruits, but they might break the branch and different things. So by that being said, like it's as if like they're staying with Owain like or at some point, and then actually using him. Oh look, this is like I want more confidence. I want more this, and they take parts of him like slowly, like his abilities, his powers and stuff. Like they're like thinking like it's free to use and stuff. And not all of the beings are very considerate, so like it's those parts were taken away, and I'm getting it back.
Good. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, it's like I'm getting a lot of energy back, and like all those mystic soul aspects and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's as if we can imagine a tornado out of sand, and all those sand particles is basically parts of consciousness and fragments and stuff, and it's just like massive amount of those parts coming back and just filling him up and all. And that little being I was hiding and constantly like, trying to avoid parents and like playing hide and seek and all. It's as if like he was the one that take part of the ability to get out so freely. Like he's like, oh, what's this device? Like it just like, oh, I can escape my family from this. He takes this thing and like now he has the ability to get out of bodies freely and like really travel and teleport and all this stuff, but it like really limits Owain. And I'm just like, give it back, So then gave it back to Owain and like make sure like all of the stuff is like cleared, all the agreements, any kind of implants, imprints, engrams, like all of that stuff is out.
Good.
And so far so good. Yeah.
Good. There's one other thing I'd like you to look into.
Yeah.
It has to do with being grounded. When you mentioned that, and you mentioned the particles, bits and pieces, it made me think of the double meaning of English language words and how they can actually will work real hard to be grounded. But you know what ground beef is? And if you take a grinder for a knife, a piece of steel, and you grind it, you've ground the knife down. But you've got all these bits and pieces and particles. So a being, a consciousness that is grounded, having been grounded like beef, ground up, bits and bits and particles and bits and bits. So there's double meaning to this idea of grounded. So if you want to be grounded, that's connected with earth. That's a thing. But at the same time, you could be allowing this yourself to be ground down like a knife. Like the full consciousness would be this big chunk of steel, and with the grinding blade, and you're grounded and grounded and ground. You're breaking off bits and pieces of consciousness that goes in all different directions, And as you get in the back, it looks like a tornado of sandstorm. These bits and particles have been ground off of the being.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, the double meaning thing, yeah?
Totally.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to just check if there's any kind of a programming command in there, a double meaning thing that might be in Owen's
Yeah.
programming or consciousness.
Yeah.
Or something.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. There's another meaning of grounded is like you can't go anywhere, you can't leave home, you're grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Right. Big time. Yeah, that's it.
Really, really interesting. It seems like as a consciousness, we can travel and do different things, and this physical body is like a grounding terminal.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you can spend a little time before you travel next time, a little destination. We're like, like placing our little points where we can travel. Like, oh look, like here's planet Earth. You can ground here for a few seconds and then go to jump there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, and
It's like touch ground, like
Yeah.
you're flying, you touch ground, fuel up or whatever,
Mhm.
get supplies or visit, and take off next hop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these bodies are made free. They're free for like all the traveling and stuff. And you get in and all of a sudden, oh, what the hell? I'm stuck, and you're like you cannot get out and stuff.
Like you landed at one little way station on your big trip and you get stuck in it.
Yeah, and you get grounded.
Yeah, wow. And like that fits in with the idea that long ago we used to be able to get out. Everybody used to be able to get in and out of body real easily.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Everybody's like get stuck, grounded. You're grounded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Another thing, like I found like a few of his spirit guys are like from are Pleiadians. There's one from Lyra, so like
Mhm.
Lyran, and there's two Pleiadians at least.
Mhm.
So they've been messed with and like like sort of deceived light, and they couldn't get to him. They will always have to do like different jobs, and like I think that like our being that was like constantly traveling, hey, like oh, like yeah, we don't need you here, like sort of, because they were
Mm.
probably keeping watch and not letting that happen, and pretending to be away, and he like saw say that, and they like went away, like keeping their distance. They're
Mhm.
also grounded in their own terminal. They can't like come
Yeah.
and help,
Yeah.
and I just like say like, oh wait guys, come over here, like
No
oh, and
longer
easy and stuff.
grounded.
Yeah.
The
So
ground,
yeah, so we'll see if that helps and stuff. But yeah, like lots of interesting information.
Yeah, good. Well, this would be a good place to wrap up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.